Listen up, you gamblers. This is the video for you.
Welcome to Full Court Press. This is where we ask the pressing questions going around the NBA. I'm here with Fadmir and Charlie, and today we're going to be talking about over and under. We're going to pull up the betting odds and the games that teams are projected to win for this season. And we're going to let you know whether we think they're going to be over or under that. Starting off with the Pacific Division. And we're going to start off with arguably the most controversial team in that division, the Lakers. They're in the media all the time, LeBron James, everything. The Lakers are projected 47.5 games for this season. And I'm personally going to take the over on that. This is a difficult decision just because they could be healthy or they could be unhealthy. And that's really going to swing the tide on that. But I'm going to take the over just because they weren't that far off of that last year. I don't know what the exact number was, but they were around 40 games.
Yeah,
43.
43
43.
finish in that division.
43. They can definitely win more. Honestly, their team looks pretty solid. They have great defenders. They're a well-built team. This is probably LeBron James' last chance to really even contend for a championship, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I would never put it out of the question, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I mean, that Lakers team is young as fuck, too, now. So.
Yeah. And they got my favorite, Gabe Vincent, starting at point guard now.
Oh, you think he's starting over D'Lo?
I don't think he starts.
Maybe not right away.
Not right away, yeah.
Not right away, but if D'Lo plays bad, or if he gets traded, who knows. Anyways, I'm taking the over on the Lakers.
Listen up, you gamblers. This is the video for you. I'm also going to take the over on the Lakers. Their team last year, it was pretty bad up until the second half of the season. And even then, their bench depth was kind of nasty. They had Mo Bamba at center, and he wasn't even... They really didn't even have a center playing backup. They had Troy Brown Jr. getting minutes. It was just kind of they had some players that shouldn't be getting minutes playing on that team. This year, though, they had a pretty good offseason. They signed Gabe Vincent, coming off a great playoff run with the Heat. They signed Taurean Prince, who's a really solid 3-and-D. He even dropped 40 points one game last season. And I believe they picked up someone else that was kind of solid. Forgot his name, though. Regardless, they also re-signed...
Wood?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they did just pick up Christian
They
Wood.
just picked up Christian Wood, too. Who,
That's not even the guy. I don't think you were thinking of.
Probably.
There's another guy.
There is another
They got
guy.
a really good young team now.
They lost Dennis Schroeder, which isn't that big of a deal considering they got Gabe Vincent. They also lost Lonnie Walker, but also not that big of a deal. And then they re-signed Reeves for super cheap. Reeves has looked amazing in FIBA. He's looked amazing in general. So I think with the new additions fitting more of what they need in terms of just shooting and still being good on defense, I think based off what they did last season and getting even better, I think they could easily get over, 47.5?
Yeah.
I think they could get over that.
I forgot to mention, but they're also a top 5 defense in the back half of the year. That's another reason why I think that they could get over.
Yeah, I have to agree, unfortunately. As much as I don't want them to get over, they're probably going to hit over. 2 other guys we didn't mention, Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish.
We're not worried about them.
Oh, they're great role players.
I
They're
think so,
super
too.
good for the depth of the team.
I don't think Cam Reddish has bloomed yet either. We could talk about that in another video, but I like him.
I mean,
Cam Reddish,
coming off the bench, he's a great piece.
I don't know. He really hasn't done anything for any of the teams, and with the way the
He
Lakers...
gets no minutes.
The Lakers, even more importantly, he got no minutes for a reason. And then you got the Lakers fan base with the way they act. And then Jackson Hayes really doesn't do much either. I don't know about those two specifically.
Just can't count them out. Can't count them out.
I mean, from what I've seen, they're both pretty valuable role-playing pieces, especially young, athletic, long bodies. They can. It helps them on defense regardless. That's the bottom line. They're a young team. They'll be able to move. Having LeBron who's almost 40, so having young guys like that around, they're probably going to hit the over, unfortunately.
All right, we're going to keep it in LA. We're going to move on to the Clippers. And the Clippers betting odds are at 46.5.
Ooh.
This is very iffy as well because it all depends on if Kawhi and Paul George can stay healthy. That is the only reason the Clippers are even considered a good team whatsoever. And I'm going to take the over on that as well. I think this is going to be that 1 year where Kawhi can stay healthy for the majority of the year. He tore his ACL again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And eventually he's going to have that 1 year. That 1 year where he can stay healthy. And I think it's either... I'm hoping it's going to come this year. It's either going to be this year or next year. But I'm going to take the over because I think this is the 1 year that both those guys can stay healthy. They really only need one of them, but both of them is the key.
For me, I'm unfortunately going to have to take the under. I love the Clippers team. They have some of my favorite players on there. But I really don't see them being healthy. Like, they haven't been healthy together since, like, they've been a team except for, like, maybe the bubble run. And
That's true.
it's like every year it's injury after injury. Like, the last time Kawhi played 60 games was in Toronto. Played 57, 52, and 52 with the Clippers. So you can't really count on him to be healthy. And then Paul George is always missing time too.
They got Russ now, though,
Russ-
to carry that load.
Russ has been great. I love what Russ did in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think him alone with a bunch of like role players that they have can do it because their role players are great, but they're not like role players to take up a load like that. I mean, they got Kenyon Martin Jr. in the offseason, which I liked as a pickup, but that's really it. You have Ty Lue saying if they can't move Marcus Morris, he's going to still be at the top of the depth chart at his position.
That's nasty.
Which is terrible because he shouldn't be playing at all. He is a terrible defender, terrible shot taker, needs to be benched. So overall, I don't think they're going to be healthy enough to get over 46 wins, so I'm going to have to take the under.
This is a tough call. I also really like the Clippers team, and the Warriors make it hard. Like this, and the Suns being in their division, like it's just going to be really hard to compete.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the guys on the roster, but just since a lot of their games are going to be against division opponents, I mean, it's just really the Warriors getting Chris Paul. I mean, I still think it doesn't make them much better, but it makes them a little better. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go with the under.
Yeah.
Health is
It's a concern, yeah.
if
It's
they're
a
healthy.
huge concern.
If I could count on them all playing like 60 games, I would probably take the over, but you just can't. So,
True.
and with every other team in the division getting better, and then the Kings are the other team, so like every team is poised to be better pretty
And
much.
the West is so stacked right now too.
So
It really is.
if you're not going to be playing healthy games with all your best players, it's going to be really hard to win games. So
It's really no nights off for that team
Yeah.
at this point. And like
probably going to be the under,
their
unfortunately.
guys take nights off.
Hey, man, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it.
If we get
Risk it for the biscuit.
we get Beastbrook, dude, then we're
Beastbrook.
getting the over. But I love Westbrook. Hopefully, you can put some numbers up.
All right, and we're going to move on to the Warriors. And the Warriors, they are an aging team. People are questioning whether the dynasty is still alive. And they're at 48 and a half games for the year. This one is also tough because I've made a short or two saying that the Warriors dynasty is kind of over. It's kind of over. 48 and a half is quite a bit of games to win with Klay Thompson no longer being Klay that we used to know. Draymond is also getting older. You just signed a 38-year-old in Chris Paul. Maybe he's older than that. I don't know. And you gave up your young scorer in Jordan Poole.
And picks.
It's a crazy move.
Crazy
move. In a tough conference, and the Pacific Division is the best division in basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one for once.
I could agree.
All right. Thanks for that, Charlie. But I'm going to personally take the under on the Warriors. I have to stick by my guns and say that the dynasty is over. Maybe Steph can win one more. I don't know if it's going to be with the same core that he came in with, but I'm taking the under. I don't think the Warriors get over 48 and a half games.
For the Warriors, I also am going to take the under. 48 and a half sounds crazy looking at it. comparing that to what the Lakers have, and I think the Lakers have a better team in general by like a good margin.
Depth chart, yeah.
The Warriors lost Jordan Poole, who held it down for them really big when Curry went out last year. Clay did come off a career shooting year in the regular season, which is nice, but
playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, but
that boy was letting it fly.
I don't think you can really count on him like that. In general, the Warriors team does have they're a little bit more injury prone than you'd think. Wiggins missed the year with some sicknesses
and
personal issues and some injuries. Curry missed a good chunk of the year with an injury. Draymond missed some of the games with an injury. So, looking at that, and then Chris Paul, also injury prone. I personally thought that trade was terrible. That's what happens when Bob Myers leaves, I guess. But I think that trade made them worse overall. I don't see how Chris Paul fits exactly with that team. It's kind of a weird fit in my opinion, and they want to start him too. So how's that going to work out? They lost Dante DiVincenzo too, who was a basically do it all for them. They really didn't get anyone else except Chris Paul that was notable. So I don't see how they really can get over 48 wins.
I'm gonna go with the under. There's a lot of things about this team that are up in the air. I don't like Jordan Poole. I don't like his play style. So I actually do think bringing in Chris Paul can make this team better, simply because Chris Paul can model his game after whatever you need from him. He can do pretty much whatever you ask him to do. So I don't think they're gonna really have too much trouble integrating Chris Paul in there. They're gonna have a small lineup if they're gonna start him. Paul, Curry, Wiggins, Clay, and Draymond.
Yeah.
It's going to be a small lineup, but I mean, that's the Warriors thing. They freaking pretty much started the small ball movement.
True.
So I don't have doubts that they can win games like this. 48.5, or I think that was it, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a pretty long margin against all their teams in the West in the division. Underrated pickups, though. I think Corey Joseph and Dario Saric are actually really good role players to have come off the bench, and Saric is another guy who can run a small ball lineup and shoot threes, and he could come in for Draymond and pretty much do the same thing, just a little bit worse. So probably shoot better, but definitely not defense or play make better. But I just think 49 wins, getting to that mark is just too tall of a task in this division for the Warriors.
Yeah, and their team, by the sounds like their roster, it definitely sounds like they lost a lot of defense overall. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how Chris Paul and Draymond are going to work together, because if Chris Paul has the ball in his hands, what exactly is Draymond going to be doing? If Draymond has the ball in his hands, what exactly is
that screen?
What is Chris Paul going to be doing? They just don't seem like they work off each other that well.
I agree, but I also think if you need Chris Paul, I mean, he's probably an above average 3-point shooter. If you need him to be off the ball, he'll hit open three. But keeping the ball in his hands, get him in a motion with Draymond, and then Steve Kerr is pretty good at getting off-ball shooters open shots. So you can now run off balls for Steph and Clay at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you still have to respect the ball handler in Paul. And then if Paul dishes it to Draymond, he can still make the best pass too. So it's going to be, I have a feeling we are going to see some Spurs-like ball movement out of this Warriors team. There's a lot of high IQ guys on that team who know the best shot.
All right. But you're officially going with under?
I am going with under. They can easily go over, but I just think that there's too much against them.
The odds are in under for us. And moving on, we got two teams left, the Kings and the Suns. And we're going to go to arguably the most hyped up team because of the big three that they're creating: Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns. And their odds are 51.5 games. I honestly think that that's very achievable for them. I don't remember what exactly they had for wins last year, but I think that's very easy for them to get, especially with this big three. Sure, they lack defense, 45. Honestly, that seems like an off year for them, because they had 60-plus the year before.
They had to figure it out, bringing in KD. So
and KD missed the majority of the regular season.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the over on that. I'm excited to see what that big three does. They have championship aspirations. They did fill out their roster with some solid role players. I'll take the over on them.
For the Suns, I will take the over on them. If their team is healthy, because Beal and KD have injury problems, if their team's healthy, I think they smash the over. But if there's like the injury problems that happen, I still think they'll get the over. But surprisingly enough, their offseason was amazing in my opinion. They with the little money they had because of their four main guys taking up most of the contract space, they picked up some good people. They got Keita Bates-Diop, who's a solid player, solid just defending wing, can shoot the three a little bit. They got Yuta, who is a lights out catch and shoot 3-point shooter last year.
Expert at getting posterized.
Expert at getting posterized as well. They picked up Drew Eubanks, who was pretty solid for Portland last year. They re-signed Biyombo, and then they got Jordan Goodwin from the Wizards when they originally traded Chris Paul. And Jordan Goodwin, if you aren't up to the date with Jordan Goodwin, he's very good. He's a great defender. He does a little bit of everything. Shout out Fantasy for teaching me who Jordan Goodwin is. And then they still got a lot of like just decent depth overall, despite.
There's no way you're about to leave out Bol, dude.
Oh,
You can't forget.
they have Bol. Bol might have a resurgent season. You never know with him.
You never know.
But overall, their team has a lot of depth, despite what little depth they had going into the offseason. And I think they could easily get over that, especially if they're all healthy.
Yeah, I think it pretty much comes down to health. I want to say over. I'm going to say over. I'm still not sure how they're going to play together without having the playmaker like Paul. Like Booker is going to take over that role. But Booker's still going to want 25 shots a game. It's going to be interesting, but I do think they can figure it out. Kevin Durant's been on a team that's been very unselfish in the Warriors. Booker has probably learned a lot from his time with Chris Paul. So I'm going to assume that he's ready to take those reins. We've seen him do it in like smaller roles before and succeed. Beal has not been on a team where he hasn't been the best player in a while. So
yeah, that's true.
It'll be interesting to see him take on his new role. He's obviously going to have to fall into a third option role. I think he could do it pretty easily. He's probably 31 now. He's not the same player he used to be, and he's just a scorer, average playmaker. So we'll see what he can do in this new role. I think it'll be probably an efficient, hopefully 20 points a game for him. But I'm picking up guys like Bol, Eubanks. They definitely got better. I thought they got Eric Gordon.
No,
but
I don't think so.
I thought I saw that, but I don't see it. If they didn't, either way, they got a lot better. So yeah, I'll hit the over for them.
All right. Moving on to the final team of the Pacific Division. This honestly is the team I'm most excited to see, just because of how well they did last year, and because they really gave it to the Warriors in the playoffs. I personally thought that they were going to win that series. The Sacramento Kings. And the Sacramento Kings betting odds, they're the lowest in the division, actually.
Pretty freaking crazy.
44.5.
Oh, wow.
I think they got 48 wins last year.
They won the division last year.
They won the division.
Right down to the bottom.
That's a lot lower than I thought it was.
And they're moving them to the bottom. 44.5. That's a good number because you never know how these teams are going to play out, but I'm going to take the over. I like the Kings. I like De'Aaron Fox. I like the energy that they brought. They didn't back away from anyone. And honestly, they were one game away from moving on to the second round. And honestly, I think they could have beat the Lakers if they did move on to the second round. Steph Curry had to explode for 50 points in order for the Kings to go down. I love De'Aaron Fox's play. I think him and Malik Monk, the Kentucky connection, is something to really look forward to in that team, along with Sabonis. Sabonis was hurt in the playoffs. Give me the over on the Kings. I'm hyped up on them. And like the beam, baby.
44.5. God.
Is it disrespectful?
I think it's disrespectful.
It feels like it's the media kind of thing to where they prop up the four other teams making up the media headlines while the Kings are
the Kings did
the small market team.
Season 2.
They're the
every
small
other
market
those
team.
teams made a blockbuster move, and the Kings got the exact same team.
Yeah, like
pretty much.
That could be a good thing, you know?
That is good.
The,
They're all young.
the only like notable people they got were Chris Duarte and JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
JaVale could be.
I like the
Yeah.
JaVale pickup. I like the JaVale pickup. But
He's
like
been a great pickup for other playoff teams before.
44 and a half. It really feels like they're just putting them low because of the small market. But at the same time, oh my, they had what 48 last season.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to say we're gonna have to dim the beam a little bit. I'm gonna go under.
That one hurt.
I'm
Damn
gonna
the beach.
I love the Kings, I do, but I think they're gonna get either around 44 or just below it.
So your initial reaction was thinking it was too high,
No, I thought it was gonna be higher in general.
and you're still taking the under.
yes, I am.
Wow.
Dimming the beam for real.
I thought it was gonna be higher because
That
last
said,
season.
turn off the beam.
Insane.
We're gonna have to shut the beam for a couple weeks. It's under maintenance.
Wow.
It's under maintenance.
Oh,
But the
That's painful.
biggest reason is because I don't know if the offense of the Kings is sustainable. They had like one of the best offenses in damn near history last season. You had people like Kevin Huerter shooting lights out for majority of the season. Like he was on an insane run, and month after month his 3-point shooting decreased. And then in the playoffs he went completely cold. So I don't know if their offense is going to be able to be replicated this season. And I know their defense wasn't good, and they really didn't do anything to address it. So with
they
how
signed JaVale McGee.
with how good the West is, and like with the Suns being better this season, the Lakers being better this season, maybe with the Clippers healthy, and just in general other teams being better, I really don't know if they can get over 44, so I'm going to just have to go with the under. I personally hope I am wrong, though.
He's right. Every team got better. They didn't make any moves. Doesn't matter. Light the beam, bro.
Yeah!
We're hitting the over. We're hitting the
Let's
over.
go!
I think it might actually, like you said, or like Alvin said, it might be good that they didn't make any big moves. Everybody on this team is young. They figured it out last year, put together a great season. Bring in the same guys, see what they can do. You expect more out of Fox, more out of Sabonis. What's his name? It's going to be tough to expect that out of Herter.
I don't think.
I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if he's that guy.
Maybe
really,
Monk
Monk is solid, and then I expect a lot more out of Keegan Murray. I think
Yeah.
Keegan
I don't
Murray's
know
going to come up.
I don't know if they're going to be able to like do that with Keegan Murray. Like it feels like with how he is on the team, they're kind of just going to keep him as like a 3-and-D kind of guy because Fox and Sabonis main ball handlers. Monk needs the ball in his hands too sometimes. So like I don't know if they're really going to be able to open things up. For
I
him.
think he can. His being in that role, he can still maximize it much more. Like he can hit. He already shot a really high percentage, but
that's
being a
saying.
3D guy, he can get more shots in.
I don't know if it can be replicated. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's going to be replicated and improved upon.
Oh,
I like it.
Improved upon. Okay.
Keegan Murray is going to have a better season than he did last year.
That's fair.
These guys, they're also, I would say, by far the hungriest of the teams in this division. They've never won anything. Every other team has. These guys, I'm positive that they want to put on
Clippers.
Positive, yeah, but there's guys on the Clippers who have won.
True. Keep going.
Everybody, like being in the Kings, the fan base they have, they're going to want to put everything on the line for that fan base. It's one of the most loyal. So I think these guys are going to be way hungrier than every other team and definitely hitting the over on 44.5.
Oh, let's go. It's always good when me and Charlie agree. It's much more fun. That'll wrap it up for the Pacific Division. To all you gamblers out there, I didn't say it earlier, but I'm saying now. None of this is financial advice, all right? We're not liable for you addicts going out there losing your money. We're just talking heads over here. We know ball, but
Blame Vegas.
blame Vegas, man. This is 3 different people giving you 3 different opinions. Don't forget to dunk on that like button. Subscribe as well, because I know you want to be a part of the Full Court Press family, baby.
Sure.
This is where we have our controversial picks. We talk about basketball. We know ball. We've played ball. This is what we do. And we're very entertaining at the same time. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.